I spent the last couple of days testing the very best image generation models that anyone can use today for free, so you don't have to. And I'm not talking about some random open source models that you need a supercomputer to run. I'm talking about the best image generation models that you can use today without spending a single dime. If we take a look at the artificial analysis leaderboards, we can see that they are already ranking the best AI image models, but these are ranked based on user blind testing. So they show you two different images and you can pick which one looks better based on the given prompt. But these rankings aren't really all that accurate, so I'm gonna put these models to the test and rank them based on a few factors such as image quality, prompt adherence, features, and convenience. And by that I mean how easy they are to use and also how free they are. And make sure to stick till the end because the results might surprise you. First of all, we got probably the most popular model out there, ChatGPT 4o. And even though artificial analysis ranks it as number one, I'm not so sure it's actually the best image model out there, because later in this video I'll show you a much better alternative if you want to create stunning images for free. Okay, so we are here on ChatGPT. I'm not gonna spend a lot of time on this because you probably already know how it works, but all you have to do is go ahead and click on Tools, select Create Image, and over here just describe the image you want to see. So I want to see a monkey holding a guitar while skydiving in a 16:9 aspect ratio, and let's just click over here. And as you can see, ChatGPT is generating our image. Okay, so after a while it generated this image for us, and as you can see it does show a monkey holding a guitar while skydiving, and it's also in a 16:9 aspect ratio. And the cool thing about ChatGPT is that it also allows you to edit images. So let's say that we want to remove this guitar. All you have to do is ask ChatGPT to remove the guitar. And after a long period of waiting, we can see that ChatGPT removed the guitar while also preserving the other details of the image, which is pretty nice. Okay, now let's make the monkey pink. And once again, it did a pretty good job. Let's make it Ghibli now. And here's the result. As you can see, it looks pretty nice. Now, the biggest drawback of using ChatGPT, aside from its very slow generation time, is the fact that on the free plan you can only generate up to 4 images before you're gonna be hit with this message over here. As you can see, it says you've reached your image creation limit, which is pretty annoying. You can only generate so many images per day. Now, on the positive side, the prompt adherence is pretty good. As you can see, it's really good at following my instructions. You can also edit the images just by asking ChatGPT to make certain modifications. You can also change the style of the image, as you can see right over here. Overall, it's pretty easy and straightforward to use. Now let's take a look at the image quality. I generated a few sets of images using the same prompts, and here are the results. As you can see, most of them look pretty good, but something that I noticed about ChatGPT is that it tends to keep the seed the same. So in other words, each generation looks kind of similar to the previous one, even if you use different accounts or use completely new chats, which is pretty weird and annoying, especially if you're trying to get some variety in your generations. Okay, so in terms of image quality, it's pretty decent. The prompt adherence is actually really good. And for usability, it's actually pretty easy to use, but its biggest drawback, aside from having to wait a lot of time to generate your images, is the fact that you can only generate about 4 images a day on the free plan, which is very limited, and not to mention it's gonna take a while for you to generate all the images that you want. And for that, I think I'm gonna put it in the B tier. Next up, we got Gemini, or Google Image in 4, and just like ChatGPT, we can ask it directly to generate the image that we want. Okay, so we're gonna ask it to generate an image of a monkey riding a yellow motorcycle in jungle, and again in a 16:9 aspect ratio. And it generated the image a lot faster than ChatGPT. And if we take a look at the image, it does indeed show a monkey riding a yellow motorcycle in the desert, and the overall image quality looks pretty good. Now let's see what happens if we ask it to change the color of the motorcycle. If we take a look at the image, we can see that it did indeed change the color of the motorcycle to blue, but it also generated a completely different image that doesn't look like the original image whatsoever. So let me try out another example. Okay, so let's ask it to generate an image of a notebook page with the text banana written on it. Now let's see what happens if we ask it to write another word below the banana text. Okay, so I asked it to edit the image by writing the word cake below the word banana and to also keep everything else the same. This is very important. Let's see what happens. And here's the thing, even though I asked it to only edit the image and write the word cake below the word banana and also keep everything else the same, instead of doing that, it generated a brand new image. Meaning that Imagen 4, at least right now, cannot directly edit images, it can only generate them. So that's a pretty big disadvantage compared to ChatGPT, which can directly edit images. But on the bright side, the image generation is pretty fast, and I also believe you can generate an unlimited amount of images using the free plan, which is pretty nice. Now let's take a look at some example images I generated using Gemini. So overall, the image quality is decent, the prompt adherence is actually pretty good. In terms of features, it doesn't really have a lot of features given the fact that you cannot directly edit the images. But in terms of usability, it's pretty straightforward, pretty easy to use, and it's also nice that you can generate an unlimited amount of images with it. So for that, I think I'm gonna put Gemini in the B tier. Next up, we got Seedream 3.0 by ByteDance, the same company that made TikTok. And you can use this one completely free on this website called Dreamia. If we go ahead and click on image generator, over here you got your standard image generation interface, so you can type your prompt, select the model. We're gonna use the image 3.0 for this one. Over here on the free plan, you can only select the standard 1K quality, and you can also change the aspect ratio and resolution of your image. So let's say that we want to generate an image of a monkey riding a white tiger in the desert. And the very nice thing about this website is that you can generate an unlimited amount of images completely free, at least for the time being. And here's the result. As you can see, it generated not one but 4 different images for us, and they all look pretty good. Now let's go ahead and change the prompt a little bit. Let's see that we want to add an eagle on its right shoulder, and for this one, let's use the 16:9 aspect ratio. And here's the result. As you can see, it did not really add the eagle on the monkey's shoulder, at least in most of the images, but overall it looks pretty good. Another very nice thing about this model is the fact that it also has a bunch of features. For example, you can upscale your image. You can also retouch the image. As you can see, it changed the details of the image while maintaining the same structure. You can also in-paint. So let's say that we want to paint a castle right over here. All we have to do is select this area and describe what we want to see. And click on generate. And it gave us 4 variations, and looking at them, you can see that it definitely generated a nice castle over here in the background. Another thing that you can do is also remove something from your image. So let's say that we want to get rid of this white thing over here. All you have to do is select it and click on generate. You can also expand your image. So go ahead and select how you want your image to be. Over here you can select the expansion factor. I'm gonna leave it on 1.5. And once again, it gave us 4 different variations. And if we take a look at them, we can see that it did expand the images pretty well. The good thing about this model is the fact that you can generate a lot of images, and currently it is completely free. You can also edit your images manually, you can upscale them, retouch them, remove objects, and also expand the borders of your image, which are all some pretty nice features. The downsides are that you cannot edit your images directly using text like you can do with ChatGPT, and also it's kinda slow during rush hours. Let's take a look at some of the images I generated using this model. So in terms of image quality, the quality of the image is pretty good. The prompt adherence is also pretty decent. In terms of features, it does have some pretty useful features. And in terms of usability, it's pretty easy to use, pretty straightforward. And the best part is that it's completely free. So for this, I think I'm gonna put it in the A tier. So next up, we got Recraft V3. You can go ahead and sign up for a free account and you will receive about 100 free credits, and after that you're gonna receive about 50 free credits every single day. So when you make your new account, you're gonna be greeted by this canvas over here. Over here we can select the model that we want to use. For this instance, we're gonna use Recraft v3 raw. You can also select the color palette, which is pretty interesting. Let's make a random palette and let's go with this one. Paste our prompt, and for this image we want to see a monkey playing the piano on the beach. Over here you can use this slider to select the aspect ratio. Let's make it a 16:9. And you're gonna be generating 2 images every single time, and let's just click on this button over here. Okay, that was pretty quick, and as you can see it generated 2 images using 2 credits. Now these are in the style of a children's drawing book, I guess, and they look pretty good, but let's say that we want a realistic image. We can go ahead and click over here and use the photorealism model. And as you can see, it generated a pretty photorealistic image of a monkey playing the piano on the beach. And both of these look pretty good. Now let's see what other styles do we have over here. So we got the photorealism styles, some illustration styles. It's nice that you can also do some vector art. So for example, let's say that we want a line art of this monkey playing piano on the beach. Let's go ahead and select the line art style over here and just click on Recraft. And it's generating images pretty fast. And here's the result, and if we zoom in on this image over here, you can see that it's actually a vector, meaning that you can basically zoom in on this image as much as you want and you won't lose any quality. To this day, I haven't really seen any other AI image model that can generate vector images, so this is pretty interesting. And if we click on export over here, we can also save it as an SVG. And this is our image. You can also use this model to create mockups, so just click on mockup and paste your prompt over here. And here is our mug mockup with a monkey riding a skateboard. You can also do image to image. So over here we have a similarity slider. Let's go ahead and slide it all the way to very similar. And let's just type Donald Trump shaking the hand of a monkey. So it did generate Donald Trump shaking the hand of a penguin that kind of has the fur of a monkey, I guess. Let's go ahead and slide this down to somewhat similar. And the image doesn't look the same anymore, but it does have Donald Trump shaking the hand of a clear monkey. So yep, that's pretty nice. Here are some of the example images I generated using Recraft v3. So overall, the image quality is decent, the prompt adherence is decent as well, I guess. It has a pretty nice amount of features, especially given the fact that you can generate vector images, and as far as I know, Recraft is the only AI model that you can use to generate vector images. In terms of usability, it's pretty easy to use, it has a nice friendly interface, and you also get a bunch of credits, which is pretty nice. And for that, I think I'm gonna put Recraft in B tier. Next up, we got Flux Context by Black Forest Labs, which you can use on this website called Flux Playground. When you sign up for a new account, you get 200 credits, which you can use to generate images. So all you have to do is go ahead and paste your prompt over here in the prompt box. You can select here from a couple of models ranking from Flux 1 Dev all the way to Flux 1 Context, Max and Pro. First of all, let's try the Pro version. And as you can see, it's generating 4 images rather quickly. So taking a look at these images, you can see that it's definitely following our prompt pretty well. We can see a monkey sailing on a pirate ship, and let's go ahead and try out a different prompt. So let's say we want to see a monkey flying in space on a unicorn. And if we click over here, we can see a couple of options. First of all, aspect ratio. For this one, let's do a 9:16 aspect ratio. Over here, you can modify how many images you want to generate. I'm gonna leave it on 4. For safety tolerance, if you want your images to be safe for work, then you can go ahead and lower this one, or if you don't want that, then you can go ahead and increase it all the way up to the max. Over here you can select the output format. I'm gonna leave it on PNG, and let's leave the seed on random, and let's go ahead and click on generate. And this is in real time, so you can see how fast this model generates images. And as you can see, all these images look really great. Now let's say that we really like this image, but we want to remove the planet from the background. The great thing about Flux Context is that just like ChatGPT, you can also use it to edit images. So just click over here on edit and you will see this prompt box over here. Let's say that we want to remove the planet in the background. And as you can see, it's generating 4 different variations of our edit. And it did remove the planet in the background, but as you can see, the background over here where the planet was is a bit weird. So it did not do that much of a great job at it. Let's go ahead and edit the image even further. Okay, let's say that we want to add a giant spaceship in the background. And it added this Star Wars-like spaceship in the background. Yep, it looks pretty good. Now let's go ahead and try out something else. Let's say that we want to take the astronaut costume of the monkey and replace it with a pirate costume. And it did a great job at replacing the astronaut costume with a pirate costume. We can also fill and expand this image, so let's make it a square. And let's see how this works. Okay, this is pretty nice. As you can see, it expanded the borders, but for some reason it also added this little watermark over here in the right corner. Let's say that we want to remove that. We can go ahead and use this fill option over here. Let's just circle the watermark, and let's say that we want to remove the watermark. Okay, it did not remove the watermark, it just replaced it with a different one. For now, I'm gonna leave this over here. Now let's add a fleet of unicorn riding monkeys in the background. And this looks great. As you can see, it's really good at following instructions. Now let's go ahead and try Flux Context Max. I'm gonna use this prompt, a monkey flying to space using a jetpack. And for aspect ratio, let's do a square this time. And look at these images. Now this one is really goofy. Now take a look at this. We generated all these different images and we still have about 37 credits left. Now when you run out of credits, all you have to do is go ahead and make a different account, but make sure you don't register with your Google account and use a temporary email instead. You can go ahead and use this temporary email service to receive your email confirmations. Now let's take a look at some example images I generated using Flux Context. Now, Flux is great in both image quality and prompt adherence. In terms of features, as you can see, it has a bunch of features, especially the image editing with prompt feature, which is great. In terms of usability, it's also pretty easy to use, pretty straightforward, and the free plan is also pretty generous. And for that, I'm gonna go ahead and put it in the S tier. In my opinion, Flux Context is the best image generation model right now, even better than ChatGPT, especially given the fact that you can generate a bunch of images using it on the free plan, compared to ChatGPT, which you can only use to generate about 4 images a day. Next up we got Reeve, which I covered more extensively in a previous video. You can watch it over here. Reeve is a pretty nice image generation model. When you first create your account, you're gonna get about 100 free credits, and each day after that you're gonna get 20 credits, which is a pretty generous offer. So let's go ahead and generate an image. Let's say that we want to see an image of a monkey jumping over a rail at a skate park. Over here we can select the aspect ratio, so let's go ahead and select a 16:9 aspect ratio. You can select how many images you want to generate, and you can generate up to 8 images. Over here, this option allows you to enhance your prompt, so if you type a very simple prompt like I did over here, you can use this function to elaborate it and get better results. And this is the seed, we're gonna leave it on auto. Let's go ahead and click on create. And as you can see, it's generating 8 images at the same time. And this is the result. We got some pretty nice and realistic images of monkeys jumping over rails at what appears to be a skate park in the background. But this is not really what I had in mind. I wanted to see a monkey doing some sick flips on a skateboard at a skate park. So let's go ahead and edit our prompt. Okay, so a cool monkey jumping over a rail on a skateboard at a skate park. And this is much better. So over here we got a monkey wearing a nice leather jacket, doing some sick skateboard tricks at a skate park. And all of these images look really good. And if you click over here, you can see the enhanced prompt. Now let's go ahead and see if it can generate this image but in a Ghibli style. And it's not really Ghibli style, but at least it did make it look a bit more cartoonish. Now let's see if we can edit the images by prompting. Okay, so let's ask it to make the monkey pink. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it did modify the overall prompt of the images. As you can see, we still have a monkey doing some skateboard tricks at a skate park, but this time the monkey is pink, but it did not directly edit the image we have selected. Now, if you take a look at our account over here, you can see that even after generating all of these images, we still have about 28 credits left, which is pretty nice. Here's the example images I generated using Reeve. Now overall, the image quality is pretty good. In terms of prompt adherence, it's also pretty good. In terms of features, it doesn't have all that many features, like it cannot edit the images directly by prompting, but it does have the standard image generation features. And in terms of usability, pretty easy to use, and it also has a very generous free plan. And for that, I think I'm gonna put Reeve on the A tier. Now for our last model, we have Ideogram 3. On Ideogram, you're gonna get about 12 credits per week, which is a pretty limited amount of credits. Over here we can type our prompts, so let's say we want to see a monkey fighting a cat with a sword and shield. Over here, let's change the aspect ratio to a square. Over here you can select between a couple of different models, so we have Ideogram 3, the latest, and over here we have the previous versions 2.0, 2A and 1. And over here you can select between a couple of different render speeds, and for highest quality, obviously we're gonna leave it on the quality option over here. Now the amount of credits you need to use to generate images with Ideogram 3 is 6 credits, and you only get about 12 credits per week, which is very limited. And as you can see, if you try to select any other amount over here, you get prompted to pay for a subscription, but we don't want that, so we're gonna leave it as it is. Magic prompt enhances our prompt, so let's leave it on. For style, we're gonna leave it on auto, and for color, let's go ahead and select this jungle color palette over here. And let's click on generate. And here's the results. Over here we have a nice night monkey fighting this cute cat with a sword and a shield. And the same goes for the other images. Now these look a bit more cartoonish, but that's okay. Over here we have a couple of options such as remix, which allows us to remix this very image and change it based on our prompt. So let's say that we want to add a kangaroo referee. And let's go ahead and click on remix, which is going to use our last 6 credits. And here's the results. As you can see, it did add a kangaroo referee in the background in all of these images, which is really nice. But the biggest downside is that we have already used all of our free credits for this week, so we cannot really test any other feature. So in terms of image quality, Ideogram 3 can generate some really nice looking images, and in terms of prompt adherence, it's also really good. When it comes to features, it does have a couple of nice features, but it's gonna be a bit hard to use them given the fact that it gives you very few free credits. So at best, you're gonna be able to generate about 8 images every 4 days or so, which is their biggest drawback. And for that, I would put it in the C tier, but the image quality is just too good to be in the C tier, so we're gonna give it a B tier. And that's it. I hope you liked this video and you found it useful. Let me know if I missed any other good AI image generation models, and see you in the next one.